Good day everyone. So for today, we will discuss about the business and ecology. Ecology is a scientific study of relations that living organisms have with respect to each other and their natural environment. The network of organizations participating in the distribution and supply of a certain item through competition and collaboration is referred to as business ecology. Like in a natural ecosystem, each item in the ecology is impacted by the others, resulting in a cyclic process of interdependence.
Deal intelligently with the question of business responsibility for the environment. One must realize that as business uses energy and materials, discharges waste and produces products and services, it is functioning within an ecological system. Ecology refers to the science of the interrelationship among organisms and their environments. The operative term interrelationship implying that an interdependence exists among all entities in the environment. Speaking about ecological matters, ecologists frequently use the term ecosystem, which refer to a total ecological community, both living and non-living. In its role as the major instrument of production in our society, business must intrude into ecosystem. Yet, not all intrusion or all kinds of intrusion are justifiable.
First, we'll be defining what is social problem. Social problem is a condition or a type of behavior that many people believe is harmful. It is usually taken to refer to social conditions that disrupt or damage society growth, racism, or life. Social problem is any conditions that have negative consequences for a large number of people, and it's needed to be recognized. Furthermore, social problem is one of the reasons on why people have difficulties on achieving their full potential in the society that governs. Let us turn to two important components of social problem. It is the objective and subjective element, which is objective is all about the reality of conditions such as poverty, insufficient access to food, health services, and education. It can be personally experienced and can be measured, while subjective element is the level of public concerns about these objective conditions and the desire to alleviate them and make it possible. To finally learn social problem, how they develop and how do people deal with them, we should understand their context. And there comes the social structure. What is social structure? Social structure is the pattern of social relationship in society. Such structure regulates the interactions among members of society. It is generally means to maintain societal stability. The major aspect of social structure is social stratification. It simply means manifesting the existence of upper and lower social layers.
Our values, norms, beliefs, and symbols. The person is valued. It is one of those important elements of culture and involve judgment of what is good or bad. Symbols are things that stand for something else abound in every culture and they frequently provoke a wide range of feelings and emotion. Some symbols are actually forms of nonverbal communication. Let's proceed with nonverbal symbols. Shaking hands is a common example which is done in some societies, but not in others. It's something used to express friendship, an important element of culture. These are the concept people's opinion on what is true and how things should be. One is norm, or standard expectation for behavior, very greatly. Amongst culture, we already seen how the type of initiated behavior is influenced by societal expectation of how people should act while liberated. The way we act when we have too much to drink is influenced by drunken behavior norms. Norms are the written and unwritten standards that govern what behavior is acceptable and proper in a given society. Norms are culturally, historical, and situationally distinctive.
Business has played an important role in the destruction of the earth and our environment, the development of new products and services to meet the needs and desires of clients. Following our businessman's traditional beliefs. First, for a long period of time, business people believed that the world was free and unlimited. Because of this perspective, business people had been able to justify abusing and destroying the earth with the regard for better future. Second, the pursuit of businessman's own interest at the cost of public goods has resulted in an imbalance between personal gain and social loss. For example, some businesses do not properly dispose of their chemical waste and instead release them into the rivers. This inappropriate behavior is evidence of saves money of production. that pollutes or reverse state. The private cost in the situation is reduced, but the social costs have gone up.
What is environmental ethics? Environmental ethics is a field of applied philosophy that investigates the essential principle of environmental values and other more actual issues such as societal attitudes, actions, and policies that aim to preserve biodiversity and ecological systems. Environmental ethics is an environmental philosophy that proposes the widening of the traditional boundaries of ethics to include non-human world to the human world, because according to the environmental ethics, we should base our action on a set of ethical values that guide our interaction with other living things in nature. Environmental ethics is concerned with incorporating non-human animal rights into our ethical and moral beliefs. Even if society's prime focus is the human race, animals and plants are also important. They have the right to live and to have a fair share of existence.
The first theory is anthropocentric, or human-centered, from ancient Greek word anthropos for human being, and ketron for center, which means anthropocentric is the view that all environmental responsibility is derived from human interest alone. As you can see, there's a two involved in this pyramid. These are biocentric and ecocentric. The second theory is called animal right views. It is based on the moral consideration that we owe to animals. Also, Advocate Peter Singer said that mistreatment of animals is analogous to racism and slavery, since it gives to unequal treatment to being with equal interests. And the third theory is ecocentrism, or ecosystem-centered, which means that we have direct responsibilities to environmental collections. So in this environmental responsibility, they suggest that the environment have direct rights, qualifies for mental personhood, and an inherent worth, because we sustain our environment for future generations.
Businesses has a great responsibility to the environment, and each of the theories has different implications on business. First is anthropocentric perspective. Businesses have an obligation not to damage the environment in ways that negatively impact on human life. For example, pollution harms our health, resources depletion jeopardizes our standard of living, climate change adversely affecting our homes, biodiversity loss results in the loss of potential medicines, and the extinction of wilderness means we lose a source of hope and beauty. Second is animal rights perspective. Businesses have an obligation to avoid harming animals either directly or indirectly. Animal rights are moral principles based on the belief that non-human animals deserve the freedom to live their lives as they see appropriate, free from the desires of humans. From pharmaceutical, cosmetic, and medical companies to groceries and restaurants, all mainstream business must consider the growing public awareness of the ethical treatment to animals. Lastly, is ecocentric perspective. We must adopt ecocentric mindset in which we are grateful to and respect and admire nature rather than thinking of ourselves as superior to it. We must reject transactional attitude and cultivate a personal relationship with nature, acknowledging that the health and prosperity of society and economy are interconnected to the natural world.
Moral and social obligations of business to the environment. A duty is an obligation to act in a certain way. And there are two basic forms of duty classified as the prohibitions, which specify the things we should not do, and the other one is the requirements, which are the mandates specifying the things we should do. Law-based moral obligations. Good citizens have a moral as well as a legal obligation to abide by laws. It is part of the assumed contract of a civilized society. The second source of moral obligations is called promise-based moral obligation. It is based on a promise or agreement. Companies recognize and fulfill the moral obligation to do the things they agreed to do, especially if others are counting on them to do so. The third source of moral obligation is called moral principle as the basis of moral obligations, a standard of conduct that exists irrespective of laws or agreements. Moral principles can be mandated by religious doctrines or derived through rational philosophical reasoning.
The Valdez Principles is a set of 10 guidelines that designed to regulate and monitor the conduct of corporations in matters relating to the environment. The Valdez Principles is also known as the Ceres Principles. Allow me to introduce you to the Valdez Principles. Here are the 10 guidelines. First, protection of the biosphere. Second, sustainable use of natural resources. Third, reduction and disposal of waste. Fourth, wise use of energy. Fifth, risk reduction. Sixth, marketing safe products and services. 7. Damage compensation. 8. Disclosure. 9. Environmental directors and managers. 10th, assessment and audit. There are 4 key benefits to a corporation that decides to adopt the Valdez Principles. This is according to Mary Ellen West in her journal Environmental Law and Review in 1992.